Is Chamber really that bad? I mean, seriously. Ever since Riot assassinated Chamber, his pick rate went from like near 70 to 80%, all the way down to literally 0% in some competitive spaces. And as a Sentinel main, this pisses me off. It seems like everyone in the Valorant scene is just one big echo chamber. One person says something, and then everyone else just follows along like a little sheep. Like, does no one actually think for themselves around here? Alright, I just had to get that off my chest. But I think Chamber isn't as bad as everybody makes him out to be. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you ways how you can still abuse this op-crushing machine to climb up the ladder. Chamber's bad! Chamber's bad! Like, please don't be one of these brain-dead parrots you still see in your ranked games. People still play Chamber, and you need to know how to play around him or play him yourself. This is why on our website, we have Radiant-produced courses tailored to specific agents so that you can pick them up ASAP. With these courses and our other abundant resources like live VOD reviews of other students, coaching sessions, our Ask a Pro Discord channel, and more, we make sure you're ready for anything you come across in ranked. Our job is literally to help you rank up, so let us help you and check us out at SkillCapped. We'll be waiting. So why do I think Chamber is still good, you might ask? Well, there's plenty of reasons. One, he still has his get out of jail free card. The best of the best can abuse the hell out of this still and make their enemies use way more utility than necessary to clear them out. The only issue with this is that he can't go nearly as far as he could before, meaning you need to be more thoughtful as to where you're placing your rendezvous. If you play too close to it, the enemy team can run you down and punish you for playing so close. This means you want to play for longer sightlines and long corridors, as it'll take more time for the enemy team to actually punish you. But if you're smart, he can still play similar setups to what he had before. He still has a trademark that he can now pick up and move mid-round, and yes, he is bound to it now, but the radius is big enough to where this shouldn't be too much of an issue. He still has a free operator, a pocket guardian, and not to mention his rendezvous can be used like a mini Phoenix ult on attack and retake. Since the radius is a lot bigger now, you can place it down before you entry into sites and teleport back as soon as you run into utility. People simply aren't being creative enough with this agent. The thing with Chamber is that he isn't just a plug and play agent anymore. Sometimes he does need help to set him up just like other agents. So give him a drone, a flash, or a smoke to set him up, and he can hold space better than the other sentinels. You just have to actually think now about how you want to implement him into your game plan and how you want to play around his kit. Chamber still has some firepower behind him, but keep in mind, he has weak maps like every other agent does. So what do his new setups look like? Well, starting with ASCENT, I think that this is one of Chamber's stronger maps. His rendezvous can be put in a wide variety of spots that allow him to be more flexible in his setups. For mid, he can place it down in market or in tree for several different angles to play in. Now, if he wants to fight B main like a normal jet op would, place it down on dragon, and if you have to get out, you'll be extremely safe behind these walls. Or you can play on logs if you place it in market, which is an angle I love to abuse all the time. And on A, you can play in catwalk obviously, but you can play in wine if you place this rendezvous in this corner or on top of bricks. Or you could even play some serious mind games and play on top of heaven and teleport straight to hell, or even just offsite if you want. And like you saw previously, you can bait out utility with his rendezvous if you treat it like a great value Phoenix run it back. Now moving on to the new map, I think that LOTUS can be one of Chamber's stronger ones. LOTUS has a ton of long sightlines that he can abuse. Starting with A main, by placing a rendezvous towards spawn, you can fight in some cheeky off angles for A main, but I think he excels best at playing towards B. If the enemy team is going A, he could place his rendezvous towards A link. He can break the block and can outplay a strong crossfire with the A main players while at the same time tripping B main. And if you need him on C, he works really well. Simply place his rendezvous behind this waterfall and let him work. Now I've only shown you a couple setups on a couple different maps, and it doesn't seem to me like Chamber deserves that 0% pick rate. In the right hands, he can still do a ton of damage. And while we're looking at newer maps, let's take a look at Split. Again, if you're creative enough, he can work here too. Starting over on A site, by placing your TP in vents, this serves as a great way to hold ramps for your team, as your trademark can hold the A main walkout. Or for mid, you can place it in stairs, allowing you to play mail or vents to combat early aggression. These spots are typically one and dones with any other agent, but not with Chamber. Enemies are forced to use more utility to clear you out, or risk facing you head on. Or with the new elevation changes, you could condition the enemy to think you're just fighting B main normally, but then one round you teleport on top of these boxes. Chamber isn't bad. People just struggle to be creative in this game, but if you are, you'll be rewarded for it. Now, Haven is kind of interesting for Chamber. He used to be really good on this map because with his old rendezvous, he could cut down on these long rotation times by teleporting literally across the map. But because he can't do this anymore, I feel like he doesn't nearly get as much value. That doesn't mean that setups for him don't exist though. For example, this rendezvous spot for A short allows you to peek into A lobby pretty safely. And the nice thing about this is that once you're posted up on the angle, your teammates can leave you and stack the other side of the map. If the enemy ever decides to come back to A, you should be set up in a strong angle angle to get one before getting out and playing retake with your team. But like I mentioned, this isn't really his best map. His other setups aren't anything crazy, but they're still strong off angles that are punishing if not cleared correctly. Top B site and C site are both really nice, but Garage is harder to play in as you can get run down pretty easy. So Chamber doesn't have that much flexibility on Haven, but if you want to, I can still see you making him work. Now on ICEBOX, everyone thinks he's bad because he can't just put his trademark in Kitchen and then just go play 50 miles away from it. Little do you know, he still can. By placing the trademark deeper into Kitchen like this, it still holds what you need it to hold. It'll cover Snow Pile and the Kitchen walkout. I mean, just think about it. With Killjoy's turret, it gets broken, you know they're somewhere in Kitchen, and you still gotta clear them out. But with his Chamber trip, you just have to keep in mind that they could be a lot closer now. Also, just know that your mid player still needs to hold mid carefully, as someone could easily smoke it off, and they need to listen for it. And with this trademark here, you can play top yellow, you can peek into B main or garage, or just play mid. There's nothing wrong with that either. But if you choose to play A, you can't watch Kitchen with your trip. You need to place your trademark for the mid to A cross, as there's not much else for you to do with it. Plus, someone or something needs to hold this lane. And if you're on A, there are a ton of places to put his rendezvous. You can play top generator, in nest, pipes, and then TP to top screen, top rafter, or maybe you put your TP bottom rafter and then go up to top rafter, or vice versa. There's just so many different ways to get aggressive on this site. Because remember, the way you defend a site is by playing up, destroying utility, and looking for early kills. And honestly, Chamber might be the best agent for doing this. Next, I think that the Chamber nerfs hurt him the most on Pearl. B long and B side itself is honestly flawed in my opinion. It's hard to defend, and if you're going up B long, you're either in or you're out. There's no defaulting this part of the map. But this made pre-nerf Chamber the best at holding this part of the map. He's the only agent who could safely get his before getting out. His teammates could support him from the backline and be safe, and he could teleport away and be safe as well. But with the nerfs, I just don't see much reason to run him anymore. He feels really outclassed by other sentinels on this map. But if you want to play him, he's better on the opposite side of the map. He can push up A and art real safe, and there's like 1 or 2 spots he can play on B long, but it just isn't the same as before. Again, I do think that this is his worst map, but that's okay, because every agent has worse maps than others. And now lastly, Fracture could also be a really good map for Chamber. This map is all about aggression on defense, and Chamber can still set himself up to get an early kill and get out to play the retake with his teammates. For example, you could put his rendezvous near generator like this and play into arcade holding an aggressive angle. Or you could even play on top of generator and play to get yours and then get out. Both of which are great off angles to play. Or if you want to just swing B main, there isn't much wrong with that either. It's pretty safe. The only issue he has is that he can't play anywhere towards A main without getting traded out pretty easy. What I've seen before is that Chamber will start bottom site and then TP out to top site to try and trick the enemy team or throw them off guard. Or I've seen the Chamber put his TP top site and he plays top site, then TP's away and then they think he's somewhere else. I don't know. I think this is kind of a gimmick and it barely works, but hey, you could try it, I guess. But if you want to play towards dish, you could put your TP in spawn and get out pretty safely by playing up here. Overall, I think Fracture is a great map to run Chamber on and is definitely a sleeper pick. Now, if I haven't convinced you that Chamber isn't a troll pick by now, I don't know what else to say. He has valid setups that play similarly to how he used to play before. And with the right teammates to play around him, he can dominate like he did before his nerfs. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel down below. It really does help us out. But before you go, remember that if you want to master Chamber or any other agent, our coaches can help you do so. We can set up private VOD reviews or coaching sessions with Radiant Run Tricks that'll show you the ropes how to play your favorite agent. Or maybe you're shy and just want to ask us a couple questions. You can hit us up in an instant over on our Ask a Pro channel in our Discord. Our answers are pretty in-depth and we know our stuff. So what are you waiting for? You literally have nothing to lose. Head on over to SkillCapped.com and get started your way to that rank that you know you deserve. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening, guys. I'm Teets, and we here at SkillCapped want to thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.